Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. You know what? JD Vance did an interview. And in the interview, because Donald Trump, his administration are supposed to come out with more information about aliens. And they said, no, they're real. They do exist. Well, JD Vance is saying he thinks they're demons. And let me just say this to my family. Just because somebody like JD Vance calls something a demon, that doesn't mean it's a demon. Okay? It does not mean it's a demon. Because let me tell you what I believe is going to happen. Because the Most High will be sending his angels. And you watch. They're going to call the angels demons. You watch. I know what I'm talking about. When the angels come, these folks are going to call them demons. You watch. And that doesn't mean they are. So he gets into this interview, which has gone viral. Well, some, but no, you can't say they're all demons. We don't know that. None of us got that information. And come on, white people, look at their history. Them calling someone a demon, look at their history. There's nothing more demonic than these folks' history. What's more demonic than their history? Okay. I mean, no, I don't feel confident that they're the same people calling them demons. No, I don't feel confident about that at all. So anyway, y'all, let me share my screen because I want y'all to hear what he says in this interview. And I also want you to hear how people respond to this. Okay. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you. I mean, do demons call each other demon? They probably do. They probably do. All right.
We see.gov. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, "Yeah, aliens are real, but here's where they're not." And and so Obama says here that he gets asked point blank, "Are aliens real?" Says, "Oh yeah," and he goes, "But they're not at Area 51." And
then where are they?
That's what he says. Right? There's a great question.
Trump had to go save them.
I didn't see this podcast. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never exist.
So JD Vance just went on record and said, I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons. You heard what I just said? JD Vance was being interviewed on a podcast and got hit with the alien question. And JD Vance said he don't believe that they're aliens. He believes that they're demons. I need you to let that sink in. But you don't believe me, right? Look at this shit.
So you haven't been to Area 51 yet? Not yet. But we saw aliens.gov. We saw aliens.gov. I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway.
You heard him?
That's a longer discussion. Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up.
Now, this ain't a regular person. This ain't a conspiracy theorist. This is a man with top-level clearance. This man has access to all types of classified information. And he's looking at UFOs and calling them something spiritual. Mind you, he didn't say it as a joke. He said, there are things out there that we can't explain, and that people are too quick to label them as aliens, instead of what religion has been warned us about for thousands of years. Listen to the rest of this.
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there. And there are things that are very difficult to explain.
Y'all got to remember that for decades, the government said that UFOs weren't real. Now, suddenly, they confirm sightings, real footage, admit to objects they can't explain, and at the same time, you have high-level officials saying, yeah, they might not be extraterrestrial. Yeah, okay.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that. Because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, yeah, aliens are real, but like, here's where they're not. And, you know,
beyond just these two American politicians, do you know who else agrees with me and Huckabee and Cruz and the Latin Patriarch and Catholics around the world, Christians around the world, the heads of state around the world? Do you know who else agrees? Benjamin Netanyahu. And Isaac Herzog. So you had the president of Israel and the prime minister of Israel coming out successively throughout the day and saying, hey, yeah, we blew it. Here's the comment from Netanyahu, who's the most powerful guy in Israel. I have instructed the relevant authorities that Cardinal Pierre Battista Pizzaballa, the Latin Patriarch, be granted full and immediate access to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. Over the past few days, Iran has repeatedly targeted the holy sites of all three monotheistic religions in Jerusalem with ballistic missiles. In one strike, missile fragments crashed meters from the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. That's true. To protect worshippers, Israel asked members of all faiths to temporarily abstain from worshiping at the holy sites. Today, out of special concern for his safety, Cardinal Pizzaballa was asked to refrain from holding Mass. Even though I understand this concern, as soon as I learned about the incident with Cardinal Pizzaballa, I instructed the authorities to enable the Patriarch to hold services as he wishes. Okay. Good. I'm glad. Huge mistake. We don't know how high the mistake went up. Some people are saying, it was just a rogue cop who didn't know what he was doing. Some were saying it was a more of a decision from the Israeli government proper. Some are saying that Cardinal Pizzaballa had been notified the day before, which makes this much, much worse because it means that this was a premeditated decision by the Israeli government, which is a huge error. Some say that wasn't. Who knows? Fog of war. When it comes to the Middle East, Israel and the surrounding region, it's just propaganda all around. But you know what I do know is that the Cardinal, the Patriarch, came out and made this extremely diplomatic and conciliatory statement.
Diciamo che è vero che la polizia aveva detto che gli ordini del Home Front Command, del comando
It's true there were these orders from the command.
Qualsiasi genere di aggregazione nei luoghi dove non c'è un rifugio.
Yeah, and so they were prohibiting it from the places of worship that didn't have a bomb shelter.
Non abbiamo chiesto nulla di pubblico, una
but we didn't request a public celebration, just a small private ceremony to keep up the
tradition. Ci sono stati dei
Sepulchre.
fraintendimenti a quanto pare, non ci siamo compresi l'un l'altro ed è questo quello che è accaduto. Non è mai successo. Dispiace che questo sia accaduto.
It's too bad that this happened.
Non ci sono stati scontri, tutto è stato fatto in maniera molto educata. Non voglio forzare la mano. Ecco,
But I don't want to force the hand.
A usare questa situazione per vedere di chiarire meglio.
We can use the situation
cosa fare nel rispetto
to figure out how to make clearer that we need to respect security concerns, but also the right to prayer. Okay, a beautiful response. And so what I notice about this incident, which dominated the headlines yesterday, everybody was talking about it, is that the actual people involved were much more reasonable than the partisans who are just propagandists online.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there. And there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
Don't ignore this, because JD Vance just told us the truth about aliens. Check this out.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that.
When I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
Did you know that the Bible teaches us not to be ignorant of the devil's devices? You can hate JD Vance or not, but this is one of the truest statements I've ever heard him say.
There's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
The biggest mistake that many people make is to think that there is no enemy of your soul. And did you know that the devil is referenced more than 100 times in the Bible when you include all of his names and descriptions?
The truth shall set you free.
Do you think that aliens are real, or do you side with JD Vance on this one? Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments, and don't forget to follow for more.
You're going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files. And then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? Have you
So I actually haven't. I have
full
not.
Independence Day.
I have. I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it. Yeah. But I am going to. Trust me. I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay. So you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some people say they keep the UFOs in Ohio.
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well. But I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov.
You know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that. Because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, yeah, aliens are real, but here's where they're not. And,
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens are, he gets asked point blank, are aliens real? Oh, yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
where are they?
Well, that's what he says. Okay. Right. That's a great question. Trump had to go save them, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
Did you hear the Vice President of the United States just told you straight to your face that UFOs aren't aliens, they're demons? JD Vance, a devout Catholic and the second highest official in America, didn't mention advanced tech, benevolent visitors, or even angels. He went straight here.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion. That's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never existed.
Look, this isn't fringe talk. It's happening right now. As UAP files get pried open, quiet government moves like aliens.gov appear. And then we got Artemis 2 blasting off in days for the first crewed moon flyby in over 50 years. Meanwhile, here on Earth, the skies are on fire. A massive surge in anomalous fireballs worldwide, with far more large booming events than historical norms. Even NASA has flagged the strange percentages. And key insiders tied to advanced aerospace programs are vanishing. Retired Air Force Major General Neil McCasland, former commander at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, disappeared in February. His colleague, rocket scientist Monica Jacinto Reza, who developed a special super alloy for rockets under his oversight, went missing in late last year under similar circumstances. There's a lot going on here. We really need to start connecting these puzzle pieces. So look, tell me, if the highest levels of power are already labeling this demonic, what are they really preparing us to accept when the full truth finally drops?
JD Vance calling aliens demons sounds eerily similar to the time when women were labeled as witches and burned because they made men feel things and they made medicine out of plants.
But I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.
You know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
The idea that there are sovereign interdimensional beings that don't fall under the biblical Christian description of what exists both on Earth and elsewhere, it topples a lot of their narrative. Because in this world, white men are meant to be in power. They are meant to be the mouthpiece of God. And there is a hierarchy within Christianity of, even within the angelic beings, there is a hierarchy, because that's the way that the brain of the white man works. And the reality is that there are many universes, and reality is so much more complicated and stranger than we could possibly imagine. And we know what amounts to a pinprick of information about even what we're experiencing right now. And when people start to understand that, when they start to question things, they stop listening to men like JD Vance. And so Christian men have always been very quick to label something as demonic when it doesn't fit their narrative.
JD Vance says that he thinks aliens are demons. And that's how we know that the aliens are the good guys.
JD Vance calling aliens demons is funny to me because the aliens probably have advanced technology. Maybe they can cure all of our diseases or feed the entire planet, all for free. That would seem demonic to people like JD Vance.
So UFOs are demons? So during this sit-down meeting with JD Vance, this man was asking him a series of questions about UFOs. And JD Vance goes on to say, I haven't really looked into the files yet. And he was like, did you even peek in it? He said, because people seem to believe that aliens are in Area 51. And JD Vance started laughing like, yeah, I heard that before in Hangar 18 or whatever. And then y'all, this man said it. He said, I don't think UFOs are aliens anyway. I think they're demons. Come on now. Y'all, look at this shit.
To get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
They say they keep the UFOs in Ohio.
Yeah,
they might.
Hangar 18, right? I've heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay. All right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.
You know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a long discussion.
Y'all heard what JD Vance said. And the crazy part about it, they speak about aliens being fallen angels. And you got to ask yourself, why would he say it? Unless he knows something that we don't. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this down below in the comments.
All right, y'all. I don't know what you all think, but do you think JD Vance is right? Those are demons? I don't know. I call me crazy, but I'm leery about some of the judgments that people like JD Vance make. And I'm more inclined to do more research to determine something than to listen to them. Their track record is just not good. It's not a good track record when it comes down to these things. And my question is, if that was indeed the case, why did you wait all this time to say something? Why didn't you say something about them being demons years ago? You had the same intel. Okay, you had the same intel. So what took you so long to come forward and say something? That's what I want to know. So all this time, y'all sitting on this information, and now all of a sudden you want to come out with this. I don't know. Me, I'll do more research into it and determine what I feel it is, opposed to listening to somebody like JD Vance. That's all I'm saying. Mm-hmm. So, yes, I think there are some, I know I don't believe we're the only beings on this planet. I don't believe that. I don't believe we're the only beings in the universe. I do believe there's other beings out there, but I don't know. I don't know about listening to the JD Vances. Maybe if they didn't spend so much time lying to everybody, I might be a little more inclined to believe you or listen to you. You know, that's all I'm saying. They spent way too much time lying to everybody. Mm-hmm. So this thing, this interview he did has gone viral. Even the one Obama did, when he told them, no, aliens are real. They are real. They are real. But Obama didn't get all into calling them demons or anything, but he did say they were real when he was on this he did an interview prior to JD Vance. And I did see that interview. And Obama said no, and I think he saw the intel on it being president, and he says, no, they are real. They are real. A lot of people do. Sister B, 5159. Yes, a lot of people do feel they are the fallen angels. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. And, you got to also figure, this is another way of getting everybody's mind off of what's going on out here. We know about the war, and a lot of people are very unhappy about this war going on. So it's a lot going on out here. And I'm not surprised that they would do anything to distract from what's happening as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Not only do I think, yeah, there are demons, and I believe most of them are in human form. So you don't know they're demons. But the actions of these folks, and I've seen the demonic expression. If you go back and look at those, especially like the lynching photos, look at their faces. If you can't tell me that mess was not demonic. You even see the evil all in their children's faces that were there at the lynchings. You see it, and I do believe they jump in and out of people that are easy to manipulate. I do. I really truly believe that. I think some people are just so easy to manipulate and control. And in fact, when you look at a lot of them when they are being racist, look at their faces. Look at their faces. You can literally see that demonic soul all over their face. Mm-hmm. So, I guess we all got our own opinions. We do. But I'm just careful listening to the JD Vances of the world, because we have been misled by these people way too many times. We have been misled by them. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I do have some more upcoming lives a little later, but it will more than likely be like around 4 o'clock when I will come back on to do another live. And so I will see you then. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for all of your input that you put in the chat. I deeply appreciate it. And I do see the things, and some of y'all have very good thoughts about what you think things are. And I appreciate that. So, family, be safe and stay prayed up. Shalom, family.